Welcome to the Business Success by Design podcast, where you'll learn everything you need to know about building a thriving business. This isn't theory. It's hardcore strategies and tactics designed to help you win. Join us as top business coaches, marketers, and business insiders pull back the curtain on what really works in building the business you want and what's just complete BS. And now, sit back and listen to rockstar host James Lawson, he's the one with a funny accent, and Angela Inzerillo as they go deep, cut through the crap, and get to the core of making your business work for you.
Hey everybody, hey, welcome to the Business Success by Design podcast. We are your hosts. I am James Lawson. This is Angela Inzerillo. And this podcast is here to give you tips and insights on what it's like to be an entrepreneur or start your own business, whether you're doing this on your own or you're doing it as a couple.
We're just going to pull back the curtain a little bit and share some of the insights on working with your spouse, the good, the bad, the ugly. Let's get started.
So, this week we thought we'd talk a little bit about what it was like for us when we started, right? How we kind of built our list, how we started to get clients when we first started our business. Wasn't always pretty, but yeah. And listen, if you like what you're hearing and you want to catch more of this, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the podcast, and that way you'll get notified of when we do other episodes.
Yes, we have big egos, so we want to make sure people are watching. So like us.
Yeah, no kidding. Right, so listen, let's just jump in and get this thing rolling. So, Angela, I'm going to throw a question.
Oh, jeez.
So, when we first started, right, so we're going back to 2009, so this was a little bit of a while ago.
Well, coming from corporate, kind of recap, coming from corporate, we're starting a business, right? So we're going to be working now with small businesses versus the large organization, multi-billion-dollar organization. So we really had nobody in our list.
Yeah, it was a little different.
Go sell stuff.
It was definitely a little different. And if you're watching this and you've come out of corporate and you're doing this on your own, you're going to see just how big a difference it really is.
Big changes,
right?
Big changes since 2009.
But even from like working with these big organizations, because it's quite possible that you weren't in a sales role. You were probably some cog in a wheel inside corporate. So all of this stuff was done for you.
Yeah, remember when we had people?
We had people.
Yes, had people.
Yeah, I did. I miss my people. But if we start to look at when we started, right? What do you remember? Like back in 2009, about how we started to kind of build the list and start to get our people or start to get our faces out there. Like, what do you remember? Like, what was that like?
Well, as we said the last time when we started this, big part of our marketing initiative was to join our local chambers, right? We were going to get out there, we were going to network, and we were going to build our list. So that's what we did. So we went to networking events. A lot of them were through the chambers and many network nights and many, it was, I'm glad I'm invited to a lot. There was a lot going on back in 2009, right? So if there was an opportunity to network, I love to network. I'd go out, we'd collect cards. But we also decided to do these seminars, right? So what was the best way for us to get our expertise in front of the marketplace? And so, yeah, that's how we started, really just kind of networking and building our business. There was really no active Facebook, Bill.
No, there really wasn't. It wasn't.
Ads and all of that, right?
It was network, get a card.
Yeah. Put it right. Get a card.
Put the card right into constant contact,
yeah.
Right? Sometimes we didn't even ask permission. We just did it. Bad. Don't do that, by the way. Usually
I would ask.
And then we would go and we would put on seminars.
Yeah.
Right? So we would run these live workshops. And
I mean, we're talking seminars. We're talking about like renting a room at the chamber that we would invite people to. We'd put it on the chamber's calendar, right? We might have a flyer. We probably did flyers back then. People still do flyers.
Definitely flyers.
People still do flyers. I don't know. And so hard copy stuff. And then we did physically invite people. And we do like wine and cheese, right? Wine and cheese. So easy. Come meet us. We're going to talk. Yeah.
That's right. So, yeah. God.
We had name tags. I remember.
Now it's flooding back, right? So Wednesday night, usually around 5:15.
Yeah.
You would go to Costco, we'd get cheese and wine, we'd set up the room,
Really easy.
and we would have maybe 25, 30 people turn up
easy, yeah,
to a 90-minute seminar. Right?
And it was usually, it was always marketing related, right? It was usually strategic marketing topic at the time. And it really was about an hour and a half kind of having a conversation. There was always that piece of networking, which people love to have. But yeah, we'd fill a room and usually we'd make an offer at the end, or someone would say, so how do I implement this? Or how is it to work with you? Or what do you guys do?
Right.
It's probably more of what we got because we were kind of newer at the time. So we were a little bit more intriguing maybe than we are today.
So yeah, there is a saying around that escapes me at the moment. But yeah, so it really was like do the seminar. Generally, they'd have a form to fill in.
Yeah, sure,
right. They'd fill in a little form and say, "How did we do?" Which, by the way, I used to not like at all.
He hates critique.
Yeah, especially if someone critiqued my presentation. Because I'm like, you get up here and you do it.
James, you forgot a comma on page 3. And
oh, do you remember
you spelled
that?
the wrong. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Share the story. You almost lost your shit.
Yeah, I did almost lose my shit. So we were doing a workshop. And
let me just tell you, James puts a lot of time into these workshops, right? Preparing for them. He does all of that. I'm the one who fills the room. I'm the one who gets all of the wine and the cheese, right? So I've got the details. I print out whatever we're going to hand out, blah, blah, blah. But he puts so much energy into making sure it's the right slides, the right message, the right metaphoric picture. And so when you have someone, and then the delivery, right? It's passionate delivery. It's amazing content, but also amazing the way you deliver it and we interact. So anyway.
Well, especially because I'm actually an introvert. I'm not an extrovert, but I do love being on stage. I do like presenting, but it saps energy. I get energy from the room.
Yeah.
But I put a lot of energy out.
Oh, yeah.
So even for a 90-minute workshop. But anyway, so we do this workshop and it was a really good workshop. It was really, really good. And at the end of the workshop, people come up and say, that was really great, yada, yada, yada. And this guy comes up and he goes, I just want to let you know that on slide 15, you missed an apostrophe or a comma. It was
he spelled something wrong.
Apparently my punctuation wasn't up to scratch.
Still
and he did
shaky.
go, somewhat of a curmudgeon, which I had no idea what the hell that was. But I really wanted to kill him. Like I really wanted to get him by the neck and throttle him. And I'm
it would have been nice if he had just been like, hey, James, great presentation. I got a ton out of it. I really appreciate your energy. Right. And just like I said, heads up, because we've had this before. Someone will come to me and be like, hey, listen on slide. And I totally appreciate it. Believe me, we do a lot of editing before, but there's stuff that you miss.
You're always going to miss it.
But anyway, yeah. So a big part of getting started was doing these workshops in person, building that relationship.
Right. So my point being is that if you are going to do this, and you're going to get out, and we suggest that you do.
Highly recommend.
Is get in front of live audience, do your stuff. Just be aware that at some point someone's going to come up to you and say something that's you're just going to look at them and go, "Are you effing kidding me?" Like seriously, it's going to happen.
Take the critique, learn from it, move on.
Critique, and just move on. It's just who they are. So yeah,
let's fast forward a bit. How the world, how the world your list have changed,
right? So we have. Actually, no. I want to go back because I think it's important that you understand that while things have got harder, right?
Define things.
Well, the way that people are actually now going out there and building lists, I think there's still value. I mean, if you're in a local environment, is to get out there and meet your peeps. Like, go out, meet people, build your list. That way, get their business card, go have coffees. I still believe there's value in doing that.
Right.
I think especially in the coaching, and unfortunately, we've got to this point, I think, in the business where, and we see it every day, 100 times a day, especially Facebook, sponsored ads. Right, online coaching.
Yeah,
how to get to $1 million a month in online coaching and stuff, and it drives me crazy. Mainly because, unfortunately, people who are getting into this who are brand new look at that and go, "Wow, that sounds great. I want to go do that." But what they haven't got is the backstory to some of this, and some of it is just BS. By the way, it just is. But people who are at a stage in their business where they are, and there are a lot of coaches doing $1 million plus a month, right? We're in a program where our coach is doing that, at least that every month. didn't start there. Like they didn't just suddenly come out and then start doing $1 million a month. They were doing the things that we did at the beginning. They were going out, they were doing live workshops. They were pressing the flesh. They were working hard to not only build their list, but also to refine the craft, right? To be good at what they do, be good at presenting.
Right,
Put time and effort into the presentations, right? As you said earlier. So there's a lot of value in that, in doing that. But to your point, like fast forward now,
Good Lord.
has like building up your list and generating clients changed? Hell yes.
Yeah, it got harder, and this was even pre-COVID, but certainly during COVID we did great. We've been doing webinars for years, and so from when COVID hit, it was a really natural fit for us to get into that. But we definitely lost that contact of being in the room with somebody and developing that relationship. So it just took a lot longer to, follow up, and took a lot longer for that connection to be made. Even though we tried to super target, that was a time too, we were really super targeting who we were going after and what problem we solved. And we didn't do that really early on. We were just like, hey, come to our marketing workshop and learn how to whatever. We weren't talking ideal client back then.
I don't even remember what the hell we're talking about back then.
But it was a different strategy.
It was pretty general.
More strategic. Yeah, I was just going to say more general.
It was more
strategy,
general.
Marketing strategy. I'm sure it was the top 3, ways to build your list, or something that we were probably currently doing that we were teaching other people.
The 8 secrets to scale your business.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, that was
very
that
one
cool.
Picture.
That was very cool.
Anyway, secrets.
But yeah, so for you guys that are out there who are looking at doing some of this, so we love to do webinars now, right? I mean, we've enjoyed doing webinars.
He loves to do webinars.
I love doing webinars. It's so logistically, it's much easier, right? We acknowledge that you can sit and do a webinar in your pajamas,
and attending is easier. You could sit in a webinar and watch in your pajamas.
Yes. Now the tough part, and this is kind of where it gets, and you've really got to watch out, is unlike a live workshop, though, people in a live workshop just don't get up and leave.
Right.
At least not mine, right? I mean, they won't just get up and suddenly go, you know what? Yeah, I've got something better to do.
Leave. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
leave.
Yeah. Go to the bathroom or whatever, get some more wine, of course.
Right.
But, yeah.
But on a webinar.
Oh, yeah. People drop all the time.
Right.
They come late.
They'll come late.
Yeah.
They'll drop off halfway through.
Yep. For a number of reasons. It could be for any reason.
Right.
And, you got an ego. So you're like, oh, they didn't stay on, or they came late. But, people have lives. People have work to do. People know they're going to get the replay. So we all play that game. So you have to play into that. So you've got a shortened amount of time to get their attention, keep their attention.
And we've done that. I mean, we've signed up for webinars just to get the replay.
Yeah.
Knowing that we couldn't attend live, and a lot of, smart people will say, hey, listen, just sign up anyway, get the replay, right? Because it helps build the list.
The smarter people now are saying it's got to be live. I'm not going to have a replay.
Yeah, there's gonna be a
it's
replay.
One time only. I'll never, ever do this again. So, there's
and
that.
And then 3 days later, you get an email saying, hey, we're doing an encore.
Well, there's a sense of urgency, which I kind of buy into. So that's a whole nother discussion. But for now, the biggest change today, though, is relying. It's not as much networking. I'll still invite the same amount of people, and the less amount of people will register. So it's gotten harder. So we've tried to expand. I mean, I would say, what would you say is the biggest thing of expanding? We're not doing Facebook ads because we're not doing $1 million a month. So we're trying to get super targeted on what is someone going to come and get from the workshop, from the webinar? What are they going to leave with, right? And be very specific.
So I think so there is a challenge with this. And I think when you start looking at how to expand reach, and people talk about running Facebook ads especially, the part they're missing out is how much it actually costs to get your ad working, right? It's not a case of just like throwing some creative up on Facebook and throwing, a couple $100 at it. I mean, to get a Facebook ad campaign working the way that it needs to work can be several $1,000s, like to get that going. Which is why we've kind of avoided it. We did go down that path for a little bit, but realized that, hey, honestly, based on what we want to do in our life and what we want to get in our business, we don't really need to be spending money on Facebook ads. We can actually do it organically, albeit it's going to be a little bit slower, but we're still getting to make contact with the people that
The right people.
are probably are a better fit for what we want to do and who we
Right.
want to work with. But the webinar path, I think what we've seen is certainly COVID, it spiked, all right?
Oh yeah.
But what we've seen now is that it's getting harder and harder to get people to attend even a webinar now.
Yeah.
Right?
And no one watches the replay, let's be
And
honest.
nobody's watching the replays. So we're actually at a point now where we're actually saying, hey, maybe we just go back live again.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? And start running workshops and getting 15, 20, 25 people in a room.
Smaller number of people, the right people, and then just do it consistently.
And then having that personal
Contact,
connection.
yeah.
Right?
Connection.
So when you start to look at the shift in marketing, I'm not going to say it's going full circle, because I mean online marketing has just exploded. But I think if you're starting out, I think it's good to start getting or thinking back to maybe how we did it, which is go to the events, press the flesh a little bit, get to meet people, get to meet some partners who might be willing to share your message, but get in front of people. Like, run your little live workshops. I don't care if it's 10 people that attend.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I kind of do. But even if you get 10 people in there, these are 10 people you're going to make a connection with.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. And I think it's, like you said, partners and asking partners as well to help. And it's not one of those where you need to have, I mean, you could even do a joint event with a partner. We did that as well early on. We did with accountants or a small business banker. So if you've got somebody else who's got an audience, maybe clients, and you're like, hey, I can come in and be a value add to you, that's really great. And speak to a room of people. I mean, we did that quite a few times with several organizations, but bankers, CPAs, people that are similar to our target market too. But I think now the message is more about, hey, even if it's a smaller focus group, if it's a smaller room, don't be disappointed. It's just got to be the right people with the right problem that they're solving.
So that brings us back to webinar, right? So the webinar that we're doing next week. The webinar we're doing next week is still a good way for someone, if they think about the 3 strategies that we're going to talk about, to implement that to fill a workshop. Right, which is essentially create something that's of interest, go to the market, see who wants it, start a conversation, and then make them an offer. Yeah. Whether that offer is to come to my program, or the offer might be, hey, listen, since you're in my locality, hey, I'm going to run a more expanded version of this. We'll do a deeper dive in 2 weeks. Come to the workshop, right? So you can use those 3 strategies of getting eyes, creating a conversation, and making an offer to fill a workshop.
Yeah.
All right. So,
well, it's all about having that system in place. So give it away. It's a lead magnet, right? That's how but you have to have the nurturing sequence to follow that. So if you put these pieces in place one time, sure, you can modify as you go, but this is kind of why it's an always on strategy, because you have to constantly have this working for you. But a lot of people don't, they do. And we did it. We would do a webinar or a seminar and we didn't follow up, right? We didn't have that nurturing. So until we put that in place, that's when we started seeing people didn't buy right away. It was those people that, like, when they were ready, when people buy when they're ready and not you. I don't understand that.
we had one client who came to our seminars for like 3 or 4 years in a row, like, and almost every seminar. And he would sit and take pictures. Yeah. We'd take photographs of the slides. And then like 3.5 years later, it's like, okay, I'm ready.
I need to work.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And it was like a $25,000 client. I mean, it was insane. So, yeah, not everything happens on your timeline, I think, is one of the big things. But again, if you are in that early stage, don't get caught up in the hype. Don't get caught up in the $1 million a month online coaching systems that people are out there trying to sell, because you're not ready, right? What you do want to do is to meet people, get to know them. If you can do it live, do it live. If you're doing it online, then do it online. But build your craft, build your list, create your content, and then use your content to drive your conversations.
Just be consistent.
Yeah, and be consistent with it. So there you go. Super simple and super easy, right? But that's how we did it.
No.
We went
Then we went away from it, let's be honest. And then, COVID hit. We were doing really well during COVID because of the webinars. But then we went away for it because I don't know if we got lazy, but we just did. We sought the consistent. Oh, we went back in person and no one signed up. Well, we can get no one, but we're used to 20, 30 people, and we had a couple really go, so we canceled.
Yeah, this
it.
was like the August after like the shutdown.
Yeah, like
came
maybe
to an end.
Yep. And,
And,
we're like,
we're like,
everyone's
okay,
getting
we're
back
ready.
together. And I guess, anyway, so we just got discouraged. And we're like, oh, this doesn't work anymore. And our coach recently, just last month,
reminded us. He
said,
goes, yeah, you might want to go try that again.
and if it fails, it'll fail, but we'll do it again and we'll do it again and it'll work. It's just a matter of the consistency,
right?
And then the follow up as well as just being in front of people, but being very targeted in what our message is, what we're saying, and who's in the room.
Right.
I mean, early on, we didn't care who was in the room. We really didn't. We just wanted to fill the room, right? Take pictures. It's all good. You should do that. It's very important. But right now, I don't care. I would rather speak to two people who really want what we have.
Yeah, I think when you're starting,
need what we have.
Yeah, I mean, getting a room full of people and getting some snapshots of that to use for your next marketing effort is going to be helpful. But to your point, better to have like 4 people there who are good people than to have 25 people who will never ever move or buy anything or do anything. So, but I still think it's a valid strategy for newbies to do and build, and that's
100%.
And build their list. So there you go. That's it.
Full circle.
Full circle. Yeah, it's
doing what we started. Doing it again.
Difference being we're still going to do webinars. Like webinars will still be part of the gig. But I think getting in live in front of people, nothing beats it. There's nothing to beat it. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, your coach, consultant, professional services. Yeah. That's absolutely what
unless
you're
out there trying to sell, a $197 program. In which case,
online,
go online, just do your reels, do your YouTube videos, try and sell shit. But if you're in the $2,500 to maybe $10,000 range, run a workshop.
Per month,
yeah, do it every month. We all good then?
Think so.
Awesome. So there we go. That's our little tidbit for this week. Feel free to comment. Let us know what you think. If you have anything that you want to add to this, we'd love to hear from you. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be back next week with something else. All right.
All good.
Yeah. This is real life. This is how it works. Right. Don't get caught up in the hype. All right, everyone. Thanks so much, Ange. Again, wonderful talking to you.
24/7, people.
24/7.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Till next time.
Thanks, and we'll see you soon.